Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Closed Traffic Podcast, an aviation and flight simulation show. I'm Johnny, and along with me here is our very special friend whose computer is so fast, Chat GPT is actually asking it questions. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Charlie. Charlie, say hello to people, my man.
Hey, what's up? Man, already getting me on my PC.
Man, got to, man. Saw a little CTP logo on there earlier, man. That thing's
you
insane,
can't see
bro.
it, man. It's too bright.
Dang, oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. Just trying to get this thing built. Gosh, I think I started at like
Down
4:30 this morning.
Huh? Yeah, man.
But
down to the wire. Wait a minute, 4:30? 4:30
a.m.
a.m. Lord have
mercy.
I'm not
man. Mike. You know I get up and get
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of Mike is actually out today, but he does send his regards. Speaking of which, I want to introduce a very, very special guest, a freeware scenery developer and content creator himself, ladies and gentlemen, Lee from TearWearDesigns. Lee, say hello to you, my man.
How's it going, everybody? Hope your night is going well, or day, wherever you're at in the world. Hello, welcome.
Too cool, man. Again, just want to welcome you on the Closed Traffic Podcast. Huge show today. I'm really excited for this one, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. One, Charlie got his new computer, so I still want to ride him about that. Two, there's been a lot going on in the industry, and then also we want to catch up with Lee and get his story, and also talk about some scenery he has floating around there on the xplane.org. First and foremost, so Lee, how you been, man?
I've been doing all right myself. Just relaxing, making scenery like always.
making scenery for the people. Making scenery for the people.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. Too cool. Well, again, once again, welcome to the show. And I guess just to kind of dive into it, my friend, I've always wondered, because I tried making scenery one time. This has been like years ago. And after like 4 hours, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, this is just not for me. And so I guess let's start with the genesis, right? First and foremost, what brought you into the hobby of flight simulation? Was it, have you been in it for quite some time?
I've been in it for probably, it's 2023, probably almost 2 years now. And It kind of just started from me asking somebody, can you make my hometown airport? And then, they said yes. So, I went to go take pictures, and then they made it for me. So then I went into WED, and I, started taking everything apart. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of put it back together. So it just kind of started off that. I watched a couple tutorials, but I'm also mostly self-taught. So I kind of just figured everything out myself. So, and then I made like a very small airport first, and it was just satisfying going from a very horrible looking airport that's default as hell to nice custom textures on the ground with nice skid marks, grass. And I was like, okay, so that's kind of just how I got into it. It was just it's very satisfying, but it is hard. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that was the biggest hurdle for me to kind of, starting to get into it. And I didn't have the patience for it. So, thankfully we have folks like you who are willing to just dive in there.
It's very, very intense, because there's a lot of nights where, like, I come home from school and I'll stay up to 10, 11 o'clock on a school night, and just to like wrap up some quick things I'm trying to finish.
Oh wow!
So it's not something you just go in and then quickly get it and then be gone. Like, you have to sit here and for hours. And of course, I'm the type of guy where if I start something, I want to finish it like instantly, like quick as possible. So that's when the addiction comes in for me. So like, you can give me an international airport and I can have it finished in a month. Just because I want it to be done. And when I do payware stuff for companies, I get a little aggravated because I have to wait for things. And now I'm getting to the point to where I wait for everything to be in my hands. That way I can just quickly put it together and be done.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So I know you mentioned turnaround time. So kind of walk us through the process of, like, I think I'm gonna do this scenery or what have you. I mean, is it something to where you're just, taking just gobs of pictures and 3D modeling and all that?
It's a lot more to it than that because I don't 3D model. All I do is just put everything into the sim. So like, I've tried 3D modeling, sucked at it. Nope, never again. But I put everything into the sim, but it's more of you have to ask your team like, hey, what would be the next airport? And you kind of just have to find something that's very high in demand
Mm-hmm.
and people have been begging for it, like Buffalo, for example.
Right.
First, like actual like scenery by me. Of course, I had a couple freeware stuff before that, like a couple years ago, but Buffalo was like my first actual legitimate scenery that I built from the ground up, like totally went into detail, and
Right.
I was like, okay, you got the payware Buffalo, but I was like, there's gonna be a lot of people that can't afford a payware scenery. And I was like,
For sure.
I don't have the payware Buffalo. I was like, and that Buffalo was actually my first airline flight, Delta MD-80 from Atlanta to Buffalo.
Wow.
And Buffalo,
Wow.
special place in my heart. So I was like, you know what? I'll do Buffalo. And so I messaged a special guy on the FlightSim.2 for Microsoft Flight Sim. And I was like, hey, can I use your Buffalo models and I'll give you credits? And he was like, yeah, I'm down. So he gave me all the files and I put it together in 2 weeks and released.
Holy smokes, 2
Golly,
weeks, man.
that's fast.
I'm gonna tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is what really resonated with me, Lee. As far as some of your work, it's not, it's not airports that have been overly done. Like we have several iterations of major airports. We all know who they are. I'm not going to get into it. But
we got Aerosoft London, Time Models London.
There you go.
I Builds London. Like you got three at the same airport.
Yeah, I mean you could throw a dart and hit a Las Vegas done by somebody. So it's just like
there, Las Vegas, and you got Fly Tampa, Las Vegas. I mean, Fly Tampa is the better one of the two, but
exactly. And so it's it was I was like, man. So I actually picked up part of Georgia and sent the 650 there. I was just like, holy smokes. And it's like, wow, it's just, and this is freeware. So again, kudos to you for,
Thank you.
Taking it upon yourself to, create these airports and airports that are, our normal hometown airports, Augusta, Georgia,
Georgia,
it's popular, but not popular on the level of like a lot of your Class B airports, right? But there's like a huge military base, so it sees quite a lot of commercial traffic, right?
Yep.
No one's done it,
You got Endeavor Air goes into there from Atlanta with the CRJs all the time.
So
I was kind of that's kind of what I like doing because Watsonville, California, WVI. That's an airport it's on the coast. It's in California, and a lot of people love California airports. And WVI, there's business jets that go into there, and then you got general aviation that goes into there. So like, if I try to find airports that you can kind of combine all of them together. That way, it's for everyone.
Absolutely.
Montpellier. Over there in France, one of the runways is just for general aviation, and then you got the other side, which is just for commercial airliners. So that I want to combine everything together. That way it's for the whole community, because I don't want to make an airport, for example, Los Angeles, LAX. That's like airline strictly. Like you
For
never
sure.
see Cessnas going there.
You're
never
not
see
seeing the
Vipers
172
going
in there at all.
Yeah.
Heck no,
There's been a
especially
couple
not
people,
behind a 7.4
but
or
other
something
than
like that.
Except old
Yeah.
Mike's gonna send it.
Heck, Mike will land there in a
full
150.
send, man.
You might have a couple business jets going in there, but apart from
For
that,
sure.
there's no GA, and
No.
that's something that X-Plane is kind of missing is some scenery, some good scenery that kind of has all together.
Right.
Augusta, I think they got a couple flight schools over there, and then they
Mhm.
also have the CRJ, and I'm
Mhm.
actually a tester for AD simulations for their CRJ, or they
Oh,
actually
cool.
recently changed their name. Yeah, I'm a tester for them. So, I was kind of like, okay, I want to make the scenery that way I can fly into this
The
airport with the
CRJ,
CRJ.
right.
And I kind of do some GA myself. So I was like, you
For
know
sure.
what? Let's do it. And
Yeah.
then Buffalo, it was a very high demand airport. Everyone loves Buffalo, especially
Right.
it being near Niagara Falls.
Right.
No one's going to turn down a free Buffalo.
No, heck no.
And that's what really started the fame of TearWearDesigns was Buffalo.
Wow.
So that airport was definitely, it was fun, and
Mhm.
there was a lot of things that I had to overcome. Like I was doing some flights. I was just like testing it
Mhm.
around. I loaded in to the Tolis A321 and I was like, why is my frame so low? And Tolis is the most easiest on frames
Oh, for
out
sure.
there. And so I was like, what the hell is going on? So I started looking in the files, and the terminal was in the notepad. It said that it was hard asphalt. So it was basically having more like tries, and Blender is more like points.
Oh,
And
wow.
when you had it as hard surface, it's gonna
Mhm.
like quadruple the tries basically.
Wow.
And it's gonna cause performance drops like nothing. So I got rid of that line, and performance jumped through the roof.
Wow.
I figured out how to do like custom lights in Blender. So it's basically like a light object,
Right.
and those lights at the terminal are all hand placed.
Really?
So yep.
Wow.
So when I got the models for Buffalo, the lights were already on top of the terminal,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to place like X-plane lights into there. So
Mhm.
I actually made a custom light, and I placed an individual light on the terminal.
Holy
And
Holy
it worked.
smokes.
It worked.
What kind of time? Like, how long did that take you?
It took probably about 25-30 minutes to go around the whole thing.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Wow.
I'd still be doing it.
Oh man, yeah, to
It's
this
good.
day,
It's
and then I'll screw
amazing.
something up and get mad and just restart the whole thing. Yeah,
Yep.
no, I don't know my old age or what, but I just do not have the temperament, man. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. But again, it's like that is the level of effort that I've seen, and it's not, and not only you lately, I've also noticed that across the board, even with Flight Simulator 2020, there's been a resurgence of freeware developers that are, I mean, on par with some payware offerings. You guys know the names. I'm not going to say them.
there's some freeware seniors for Microsoft Flight Sim that's better than payware for the same airport.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
But you also got to be careful with Microsoft Flight Sim because it's also a money grabbing platform. Because you got like quadruple the amount of people on Microsoft Flight Sim than you do X-Plane or P3D. So and a majority of those, they're not serious simmers, so they just see something and they don't know what the difference is between good and bad.
Yeah.
So that's where all these developers are making their money because, especially Phil there. We all know Phil there.
Oh yeah,
with their futuristic LaGuardia.
Right. Right.
So you have that. Some people just don't understand the concept between bad and good scenery, and I wish people could understand. But some people are just they just go in there just to have fun.
Absolutely. And I think you got, when you look at the demographic, right, you got a wide age range. I mean, you have, folks like my 7-year-old son, he'll get a little allowance or whatever, have some Xbox credits or whatever they got nowadays. And hey, this is, LaGuardia, and click, there you go. So, I think there are a lot of things, and I've said this before, there are a lot of things that happened in 2020 that will probably never happen in X-Plane. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, 100%. Microsoft, when they first released, it's still, I'm kind of back and forth. I'm still very back and forth on Microsoft, but they're coming to the point to where I'm actually enjoying it,
right?
Because Microsoft, when it first released, there were so many bugs, so many issues. It just didn't even feel right. Hey, saying no. Hey, Siri, shut up.
Siri for the win, man, with the intercept.
Siri, shut up. Did I call you? No, shut the hell up.
Go back to your hole, Siri.
So, Microsoft is a very beautiful looking sim. And, now we're starting to get the PMDG. We got the Phoenix now. We got the CRJ by Airsoft. So it's slowly getting to where P3D and X-Plane is. And that's honestly why I've stick to X-Plane, is just because we got more selections over there right now. But Microsoft, for scenery-wise, it's outstanding. But the selection of aircraft, it's slowly getting there. We got the TFDI design MD-11 coming. We got the PMDG. I think I'm sure they're getting ready to release previews of the triple.
That's coming.
What other stuff do we got coming? We also got the MD-80. So, Microsoft it's a good sim, but there still needs to be some work done to it, especially on the ground physics side. Rudder pedal sensitivity is tremendously high.
Yeah.
And even if you go 1 inch right rudder, you're going off the runway.
For sure.
If you lower the sensitivity, then it's not right.
Absolutely.
When you go a little bit, it's fine, but the more you go, it quickly goes to right rudder, because that's what sensitivity does. So it's very interesting to see how Microsoft is coming, but they are coming.
Oh yeah, they are coming along, and that's the thing. That's really promising, is that we've talked about this numerous times. As the platform matures. As far as, even to your point, regarding the sensitivity, especially early on, it seems like to me I have noticed some improvements with it, or, it could be just my pedals or whatever, but, I have noticed some solid changes, and, even across the board, as far as aircraft, I've noticed just some tremendous offerings. And to Mr. Dave's point, the 900 is actually dropping Tuesday. Because we're recording this Saturday, February the 4th.
900 AR.
So it's so that's
Dave
coming.
McGee,
It's a lot going on. However, I think one thing that, and again, this is just my personal opinion, one thing that, desperately needs to be worked on is the accuracy of some of the default airports. There's some airports that I don't necessarily have to have started on just photorealistic or whatever. But
taxi lots,
at minimum, we need the airport. We need the taxiways to be right. That's all I'm saying.
My hometown airport don't even have one damn hangar.
No, it's just flat.
It's 2D. You know how X-Plane was a long time ago, like they had some 2D airports. Like that's how my hometown airport is.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, what the hell?
Even my hometown I will say, no, it's just off. My hometown airport in Mississippi, it's it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. And that's just really that's just airports in Mississippi in general. But
I'm actually thinking about doing Jackson, Mississippi scenery for X-Plane.
Yes, my man.
I actually thought about that. And actually, Actually, to make you happier, me and a payware guy, we're actually thinking about doing that airport after Pensacola.
Moment of silence, guys.
We
No,
we are actually really. It's very much so in consideration.
too cool, man. Too cool.
It's between that and something else, but I'm not gonna say.
Oh yeah,
But,
no, drop it. Yeah, no,
I've
man,
already gone against the NDA. Anyways,
no,
But,
that's it's just definitely promising to hear for sure.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I've been in the industry for close to 20 years, and very, very seldom do you ever see an airport in Mississippi in general. Period.
never. I haven't even seen one.
Surprisingly,
one good airport
in Mississippi. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
zero.
Yeah, X-Plane does a better job than 2020 default wise, I'll say. The taxiways are accurate, but in terms of in terms of everything else, it's just kind of like man, and it's not just me. Like other states, like you don't see much love in Alabama. Well, you do see a few airports here and there. Some a couple of states around the nation, right? But I as far as if I'm on VAXIM and I need like accurate taxiway representation, I will say I would much rather be in X-Plane than 2020 at the moment.
And the 650.
We should
yeah,
answer
650.
we need to answer some chat questions.
Absolutely.
So Mix Lemon said, so we can give you JFK and have it in about a month. I mean, if you give me the models, sure. Just give me the models and I'll have it for you. Nicky boy. Oh boy. Burbank win. I have gotten this so many times. I've gotten DMs saying Burbank win. I need K-Bur. Where's K-Bur? I'm like, you want to know how many buildings is it Burbank? It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
There's a ton.
So really the level of as far as like what takes the most amount of labor, is it the buildings and the objects? I mean, I'm assuming obviously, right?
It depends on the airport.
Gotcha.
Are y'all familiar with Toledo, Ohio?
Oh yeah, very, very familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That airport is actually just about to release by me. It's literally almost done. It's it's gonna be done this week. So, of course, this airport is crazy because I don't know if you've seen on Google Maps, but there is so many tar lines, so much dirt, so much of that to be added, and it's very. If you go on Google Earth, it's crazy the amount of tar lines there is, and I individually place the tar lines. If you open the airport in WED,
right,
every single line is individually placed.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. So this is kind of where I got TearWearDesigns, the name. Is because I specialize in tarring, I specialize in grunge and dirt, like that. That's my specialty.
Right. Actual airport,
that's what I take very, very special care of.
Wow.
So I look into it and I look at the Google Earth imagery and I'm like, that is a lot of damn tars. And all of a sudden, I just sit there. I start playing music, and then before you know it, 4 hours later, I'm done. I'm like, what the hell? And then I go in the sim, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't too bad. Buffalo. If you look near the terminal of Buffalo, there's a lot of hand-placed tars there as well. But Augusta is going to be the most tars that I have ever added. So welcome, Vertical Sim. But
absolutely.
So how? I'm sure people are wondering how I got into the whole thing.
Right.
It's a very funny, kind of not really funny, just an interesting story. So of course I asked for my hometown, all that, and I released Eastman, Heart of Georgia Regional version 1. And after that, I went to Houston. Went to Houston. I tried to do that scenery. It was mid, needed a lot of work, but it was mid. Then I started working on Pensacola with FS Designs, and then after that, I actually went back to Exonos, and I texted the owner because a year prior, literally a year prior, they said the owner was like, "You need a lot of work in WED. You need a lot of practice." A year later, I came back. I showed him my work, showed him what I approved on, and he said, "All right, you're in. I can give you an airport." So I got an airport, started working on it, and yeah. And then after that, I was like, I want to kind of give back to the community. Because on YouTube, I'm a streamer, and I've gotten a few donations here and there, and I was like, you know what, they help me, I'm gonna help them. So I was like, I can't do a giveaway. I've done one giveaway for enhanced skyscapes for a biological nanobot. I did 2 copies, gave away 2 copies, but I was like, you know what, I need to do more. So I kind of just started going to the scenery side, and I started busting my butt on Augusta. I started working on version 2 of Eastman, and so I actually had 3 airports going in at once. I had Buffalo, Augusta, and Watsonville going all at the same damn time. So of course I released Buffalo first, and then I released I think it was Watsonville, California, and then Augusta. So it was very intense.
Cool.
It was, and then I released everything. I released LFMT multiplayer in France, and it was just, I was like, you know what, I want to keep going. So now I'm about to release Toledo, Ohio. We got another airport in plans after Toledo. So we're just coming out.
Getting it.
So yeah, we're getting
awesome.
it. We are getting it.
I love the fact that they're smaller airports too.
Yeah.
Oh,
they are
absolutely.
smaller. And the next one after Toledo is going to be smaller as well. It's going to be another airport in Georgia. I want to say the name, but
don't do it. We like surprises.
Yep. Now, Charlie, you're going to be happy about this one.
Oh, I bet. I'm happy with anything in Georgia, man.
It's in Georgia, but that's all I can give.
Oh man! Speaking of getting it, ladies and gentlemen, it's your main man, Mr. Mike. Mike, say hello to people, my man.
And he's going so fast his hair come out.
What's going on, man? Sorry, I am tardy here, man. You guys should have seen me hit that base to final to get here, man.
Short approach.
Everything, man. I was trying, but again, pardon my tardiness. I was listening to some of it on my way back home here. Great dialogue so far. TearWearDesigns, welcome to the show. I think it's your first time having you here, so appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everyone popping up in the chat. Great conversation so far. I sent a message in the chat, I think, about Kennedy. I don't know if you were able to answer that yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me the models, I'll finish it in a month.
I'll go find the models for you, man. I'll go find
go some way. Go ask someone. Be like,
some way. I'll go find it.
Go ask someone. Be like, hey, if you give me these models, we can have it in a month, and I'll give me the models. I'll put it together.
All right. I like the sound.
Yeah, but if I do JFK, I'm taking a long ass break.
That's fair. You deserve
that.
That
will not be fun. That
no.
I mean, doing the taxi signs would probably take 2 days.
Oh wow!
I mean that the taxi signs are intense because you got to look at the airport diagram and you'd be like, okay, so if we're on this taxiway, we're right here.
Yeah,
this is where this taxiway sign's gonna go, and then it's just like back and forth referencing. I'm so glad I have dual monitors, or else that would not be possible.
Wow!
See, I never thought about.
I never thought about that either until he said that.
I thought you just slap them things on and call it good.
And send it.
It's funny because when you go in WED, you have to actually go to the taxi signs, place it, and then you have to put in an individual letter in, and then you can hit enter, and then you'll be good to go. So yeah, it's a pain.
350 plus
350 for Tampa.
Lord.
Oh man,
count Johnny out.
No, man.
Man, my eyes, man.
That's just Tampa. Wow.
Yep. That sounds
Holy
about
smokes.
right. Let's see. I probably placed. What's the most I placed? Montpellier in France. That was a pain. That was a
Really?
good bit too. Definitely not 350 for definitely not that. But I have an airport in mind that's gonna be kind of a bigger
Mhm.
airport.
Mhm.
So I'm probably gonna start reaching to that amount. But it sucks because Orbix just released their Palm Beach scenery.
I
Yeah, I
saw that
saw
this
that.
week. Yeah.
Guess you had Palm Beach in their plans.
Oh no way.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was
wow.
like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
Wow.
That's crazy.
White
Wow.
993 said JFK is under construction now, so you can make something only for it to be. Kennedy's always under construction, though. Man. When is
Yeah,
it
it's like
not?
Memphis, man. They're always under
Kennedy and the
construction.
Belt Parkway next door to it is always. It's been in construction since I was 5 years
JFK
old.
and LaGuardia just finished, actually.
Yeah,
LaGuardia just
yeah.
finished. Yeah. LaGuardia just finished with their stupid ass construction.
They were doing that for quite some time, but there were developers that were releasing like the future model of what it was going to look like prior to the construction. I always wondered, like, how difficult is that? Like, you don't have it fully built out yet, so are you just like referencing future plans and hoping it resembles that once it's actually finished?
So if I'm doing an airport with construction, which I have not done yet, besides Augusta, there was kind of some ground reconstruction there. So usually what I do is I kind of go to YouTube. I try to find like the most recent cockpit videos I can of that airport and try to see what's going on there. But if we're doing modeling wise, typically if they're doing construction, I typically like to just get rid of the airport and just not even do it.
Oh.
You can even ask Vertical Sim for his Nashville, Tennessee scenery. There's so much construction going on for Nashville that it is like you literally cannot model the terminal over there because there's just so much construction. You can't because there's so much construction. So you just kind of have to push that project to the side and wait for them to finish. So it's a huge this and that kind of thing. So
Right.
it's like, okay, so this is that, but what about this? And then you kind of have to figure it all out together. But it's a huge what if situation. It's huge
Right.
process of elimination as well.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you mentioned that and a couple other points a while back. And I'm willing to believe that's probably why we see multiple iterations of an airport being released. One developer pushes an airport out, but another developer is like midstream in their project, so they're like, "Well, bump it," like there's
just gonna
we're at that point of no return. Let's just go ahead and send it and see what happens. So that definitely makes sense, and that's probably why I know a few years back. New Orleans took quite some time for it to appear in flight sim because doing a lot of construction. That's probably why.
Yeah. So W White 993 actually just made a good statement. So they taxied by the old Charlie Gates of LaGuardia, and they're ripping up the old concrete, and he was like, "Can never tell what they're doing nowadays." And it's true because it seems like every time he goes to LaGuardia, he's like, "Yeah, they're doing something else on this airport," and it's like, "What the hell?
Wow.
What else are they trying to do? If anything, they need to expand the airport more into the water." Like, I mean, okay, so if you go into LaGuardia at like rush hour, there is literally planes stacked up. You can ask him stories. He's a real pilot for an airline, and he goes into LaGuardia, and it's just stacked. It's ridiculous because you got so much traffic into a small ass airport. It's very extremely small.
Wow.
Yeah, and you got Kennedy to the east, and
you got Newark
to the west, and it's not easy getting out in and out of there.
And then you got some smaller, busy airports there as well.
Teterboro,
jets,
Teterboro, Farmingdale, Islip.
Yeah. See, I mean, you got all that. And vertical sim, vertical sim posted. combined 4 different satellite sources to do Tampa.
To do Tampa.
I have never done
Wow.
that before, but you
That's
know,
nuts.
this is for doing Toledo, Ohio. This is kind of the issue that I run into.
Right.
So, for ortho, some ortho sources are taken in the winter, and then some are taken during the summer. And it's like, so what source do I want to use? Because Vertical Sim, his ortho images are actually taken during the summer, hence like the bright green grass and stuff.
Right.
So if you have bright green V states installed with a winter ortho for an airport, it's gonna look like doo-doo.
Yeah.
It's gonna be horrible. So I actually have to switch sources over for Toledo before release, like quick.
Goodness.
And I'm using the source now because it's a sharper source.
Right.
So it's definitely you just got to pay very much attention. And I'm actually trying to work on a mod. LKP Designs, Jacksonville, Florida. It's gonna be a mod. I just got to message him, make sure everything is okay.
Right.
So I messaged him, asked him for permission if I can publish his scenery using his models with his credits, and he said no. So I'm trying to see if we can make it a mod. So basically, in other words, like you have to download his scenery for mine to work.
Right.
So you just gotta like replace a few files and you'll be good to go. But mine literally includes like custom ground textures, some updated adds ortho, just all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely very extremely difficult. On top of Jacksonville, I'm working on Toledo, and then we have Columbus, Georgia. Anyways,
you heard it here, folks.
Out of the bag.
No one heard it. No one heard it. No one heard it. But so
wow,
scenery developing is probably very critique, and people ask me, they're like, so what do you do in flight sim? And I'm like, well, I used to be a full-time flyer in flight sim, and now it's transitioned. It's like I never fly. And Vertical Sim, I'm sure he can even attest to this too.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he never flies because he's just constantly modeling, texturing, going in wet, or going into the world, into the Microsoft Flight Sim, and doing Tampa. He just never flies, I'm sure. Even with a lot of big developers that I'm friends with, it's the same way for them. They don't fly because they don't have time to, because they're constantly working. Because a few people, they do this for a living.
For sure.
So it's like, you can't go fly because you got to work to make money.
So other people can fly. Got it.
Do you ever feel like you miss it, and like, do you feel like sometimes whenever you do get to fly, do you feel like you have to sort of force yourself to go back into trying to fly so you remember why you got into the passion in the hobby in the first place?
That's actually a damn good question. So there are actually times where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I really miss flying. And I go do just a quick 1 hour flight. I quickly get back off and I'm doing scenery again. And it's like, because especially when I tell, I have a Discord group, just for scenery, TearWearDesigns. And I tell people, I'm like, it should be ready next week. And I don't want to say it's going to be ready next week and then it's not ready next week. Right. So I'm like, I'm trying to make sure if I say a deadline, I am going to meet that damn thing. Because if I don't meet that deadline, my reputation is going to start getting lower. Right. So there are a lot of times where I miss flying, and there have been times where I have honestly quit, or not really quit, but have thought about quitting scenery, completely after I get some payware stuff done, just quit it completely and just go back to flying all the time. But then I fear of, I'm going to be flying all the time, I'm going to start missing scenery again. So
you're in a catch-22.
Yep. And so it's starting to get to the point to where, the past few days, I'm on a flight streak right now. So, 7 days in a row, I've done at least one flight.
Too cool.
So I have started kind of slowly getting back into flight simming and actually flying. and I have really been enjoying it. But and then when I hop back into WED, I just fall in love all over again because like
Mm,
it's a very satisfying thing to go from a crappy looking airport to custom models, custom hand placed night lighting. Like all the night lighting in my scenery, all
Hand
that is
place.
hand placed.
all custom.
All that is matched to
Wow.
Google Maps Street View. I went into
Wow.
Google Maps Street View and I matched each and individual light to the best that I could to my abilities, and I placed it each and individual. That takes a lot of time.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
actually I just posted a link to your profile for explain.org. Do you also
Sweet.
have your sceneries on .2 as well?
They are on .2 actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll definitely post links in the description as well to check out
Sweet.
some of his scenery. Speaking of .2, I did want to ask this of you, Lee. Did you or has it ever occurred like, hey, maybe I should kind of dive in doing some scenery development for 2020?
I have actually brought this up to my team. We have thought about releasing Augusta for Microsoft. We have thought about, kind of converting everything over to Microsoft. But
Sure.
no matter how many times I try Microsoft SDK for scenery,
Mm-hmm.
forget about it.
Really?
Literally, completely just forget about it. Like I can't get it. I really can't.
Is that why we tend to see like more freeware offerings, like for example for the scenery gateway? Because here's my experience.
Yeah.
No matter where I go in the X-Plane world, I always end up in an airport that's been touched by someone at some point via the gateway. Is that why? Because it's a little more user friendly for developers.
I have tried. I have a lot of hours in WED, thousands, probably almost a couple thousand. And I have a few hours in the SDK in Microsoft. And no matter how many times I try Microsoft, like it's just totally different. Like I feel like WED is more user friendly than the SDK for Microsoft. I've heard the opposite. I've heard that people prefer the Microsoft SDK than
Right.
WED. I have heard that people enjoy WED more, and so it's really just personal preference, I feel.
Sure.
But definitely, Microsoft definitely has the potential because I am going to keep trying. Probably not anytime soon, but I would like to try and get our sceneries into Microsoft. Toledo, Augusta. So it's definitely something that I keep thinking about. Microsoft's SDK is so it's like
no, we get
it's
it.
horrible.
Oh yeah. Holy smokes.
And
Wow.
I'm sure Vertical Sim, I'm sure when he tried it for the first time, I'm sure he could probably punch his monitor a few times. I'm pretty sure, because I've almost wanted to punch my monitor at WED too. Because especially, X-Plane sometimes it can be hella buggy in itself. So when you start making scenery, and then you go in the sim to see what it looks like, you can get log.txt errors, and you're like, what the hell? Because then you got to go back into the log.txt. You got to figure out what the hell it is. You got to figure out where it is. You got to figure out how to fix it. And that's where scenery developing can get very, very retarded and annoying as hell. Is you have to sit here and troubleshoot. Like, I was trying to place a custom grunge one day, like custom dirt, and so I placed it, and it was not showing in the sim. And I sat here for like 4 hours trying to figure out why the hell it was not showing in the sim, and the layer grouping of the damn thing was wrong. And it was literally just a simple fix. And because I tried replacing it, deleting the file, replacing, and I tried reloading, nothing. So I finally fixed it, and I even have in my Google Docs, I even have like just like simple notes, like just simple things. So if you think that's bad, just wait till you start dealing with jetways. Don't even remind me, because I gotta do that for Augusta. Don't even remind me. I know that one's terrible. So it's just scenery is one of those things where you feel self-accomplished. You do. You really do. Because when you and someone else works together to make this one nice thing and you release it and then everyone just falls in love with it, they say thank you. I've gotten so much nice comments saying you're an amazing freeware developer. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. Like, I have gotten so many nice comments, and that right there is what honestly keeps me in the scenery area of Flight Sim.
Wow.
Now, like, that right there is like, wow, this is really cool, because I like making other people happy. And if I can do it doing something that I love myself, then
sure.
I'm like, hey, it's a win-win.
Win-win. Yep.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. You guys keep, man. I'm telling you, you freeware developers out there, man, keep the sim community going. And
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I can't even. Johnny could attest to that, man, because he, that guy, especially in X-Plane, man. I think everything you hit is pretty much freeware scenery, right? Or
That's
scenery,
it,
like
man.
you mentioned, that someone has taken, someone took the time to actually sit down and go, detail by detail to ensure that the rendition of that scenery looked like something someone else would fly to. It's incredible.
So that's what kind of, when I was going into Exonos, I started working on the airport that they gave me, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I should take my payware wed abilities and do freeware. Because I love weds, so I'm not gonna charge for something if I don't need to charge them. So I was like, I'm just gonna take my payware abilities, my skills that I have, and I'm just gonna release freeware. Augusta, that was probably, it took a little bit longer than anticipated, but I could have had it out in probably 2 weeks, just like Buffalo. But Augusta, I actually worked a little bit less on, just because I had other things going on too. So Augusta was my first airport that I kind of started working on, but Buffalo released before Augusta because I needed some more models for Augusta. So it's very, very fun.
Absolutely. And I think that was the one of the biggest things that drove me into you. And I was like, man, we got to get them on, because I don't think a lot of us as users understand that freeware really is what drives the platform. When you look at from a numbers perspective of how many payware airports there are available to how many airports there are in the quote unquote simulated environment, I mean, there's just nowhere near it. And when you're able to go onto a sim, it's like, I want to go to Deer Valley Airport in Arizona, and boom, someone's done one on .2. Or hey, I want to go to Augusta, Georgia, boom, someone's done that. And they've taken the time to really put effort into it, and you can see the love. You can see the love in the details.
There is actually very intense detail in Eastman version 2. I don't really tell anybody because I want them to report it and be like, is this a bug? So if you download Heart of Georgia Regional Scenery, so it's a college. So on the dorms, I actually went into the texture files. I got the window, and at the dorms, a lot of people, they use those LED strip lights that they have in their room. So I actually went to the texture files. I got like a blue paint bucket on paint.net and I slapped it on the damn window. I hit save, and sure as hell, I skipped it to nighttime, and the blue LED lights pop up on the window.
Wow.
What? That's nuts.
Shout out to my brother for that idea.
Holy cow. Yeah, shout out to Lee's brother for sure, man. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and check that one out.
Yeah, awesome. Go to the dorm. It's like right next to the tower. Just put it to night, and it's there. I think there's blue and red, and they're kind of separated. So yeah, I go in there, and it's really cool because one day I actually took off at night just to see what it looked like, and I was like, you know what, that's actually a very close rendition.
That's awesome.
And I actually, in version 2 of Eastman, there is a house like basically right on the airport property, but it's not even owned by the airport. And
Really?
so yeah, there's
Mm.
actually a house on the property, but it's not even owned by the airport at all. So I actually added that house in version 2. I added power lines on the side of the road in version 2. I completely
Saw that.
revamped the entire lines of the airport. Because the lines that I
So
use, I
solid.
actually use a white dot polygon, and I literally individually place each individual center line. And
Right.
if you look closely, it's not centered. I don't have the version 1 files anymore, but a long time ago, if you look closely, it's not centered at all.
Wow.
And I didn't really know. You can't notice it until you really zoom in and look closely. But then when I transferred everything over, I transferred over to a centerline dot LIN, which everything's perfectly centered. So it's just like I revamped the entire thing, and it's stunning now. Version 2 is probably it's one of my favorite sceneries. It really is. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we threw it in the chat here for those of you that are unfamiliar. I'm gonna have to download this thing myself.
I love it.
You know where Mike's
love it.
going tomorrow.
Exactly. And Mike don't go nowhere near Georgia. I was going to
Hey, recommendation. Do it.
You know
TearWear
he's got me
Designs.
now, man.
Do a TearWear Designs tour.
I gotta check this out.
Go from Heart of Georgia Regional over to Augusta.
There you go.
Yeah, I gotta check this out.
That's a nice little cross country.
And the 650.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like a nice. I was gonna get the 650 in here from somewhere in the Northeast for sure.
hey, I don't even have the 650.
Oh man.
Oh,
You gotta.
man.
I mean,
I don't
in
have
your
it.
defense,
I ain't
man,
gonna
you
say
barely
nothing.
have time to fly. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's something
it's
you
a-
just
it's a-
gotta fly often, man.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. So
It's the
you're probably not missing much if you don't have it because you don't really have the time to fly. But if you do get it, whoo, solid
I've looked
rendition.
at it. I definitely looked at it, but it's just here's the
too
thing.
cumbersome.
No, I buy an aircraft,
Yeah.
I fly it for 2 times, and then I go back to the other aircraft. I
Yeah, I've
fly
done that. I've done
I
that.
fly it twice. I go back to another aircraft, fly that twice, and then go back to another aircraft. I'm just back and forth. And then at one
That sounds
point,
like me.
when I first got into flight sim, I was on P3D. I was like 12, 13 years old, but I was actually on a laptop using FSX, running at like 15 FPS. I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. I just kept using that with old Logitech 3D stick. I think that was the name
3D
of it.
Extreme Pro. Yep.
It was
I got
actually
the
not. It
thing
was an
right
older
here,
one.
actually.
Really?
I think it was SciTech. I think it was like the SciTech Aviator, something.
Yeah, it might have been
along
the
that line.
SciTech. Yeah.
It was old as hell, and that was actually my brother's old stick. And I just started playing with that, and finally I had the same laptop, and I got the SciTech yoke, throttle, and rudder pedals for Christmas,
Mm.
and I'm still running at 15 FPS, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? I got the full thing, and I'm running on 15 frames. So the next Christmas, I actually got my first gaming computer,
Oh, too
1070
cool.
i7, 16 gigs RAM.
Mm.
It did its thing.
Did its thing.
It got me through, and now I'm on a 3070 with an i9.
Nice.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't even see below 60 FPS on X-Plane anymore.
With a 3070 i9.
Yeah, I see
Wow.
like 60 plus everywhere I go, except for LAX
Wow.
because I have SimHaven X America, and
Right.
that object density is
It
outrageous.
gets you. Yeah.
But everywhere else is fine. But
Wow.
yeah, it's scenery has a special place in my heart.
Oh, for sure. And Dave brought up a good point. And I want to ask you this, Lee, while I actually bring this up here. So they said the problem at the airport is the ground, default ground textures, country you got to fly over to get there. Now, I have heard, I don't know if it was like a stream that Laminar did, that they were looking at possibly streaming ground textures. Have you guys heard that? What's your thoughts on
I
that?
have not heard of that, and I'll be honest, I don't watch the Laminar streams because it's gonna piss me off. It's gonna piss me off. I watched 5 minutes of one, and I was like, nope, X, play music, web, open scenery package. Okay, I'm doing my thing. I get pissed off with it.
Wait, why is you got to drill into that further? How come?
It's more of I would say it's more of the community. The community comments can be toxic. You know, they can be demanding things that can be possible. You know, Laminar, they're a very small company, very small developing company as well. And you know, people are demanding 3D photogrammetry like Microsoft. And it's like Laminar, they cannot afford that type of licensing with with Google or Bing.
Sure.
You know, they can't afford that. Like, that's very expensive. Like, that's not cheap.
Sure.
You know, Microsoft, they're a multi-billion-dollar company.
Billion-dollar company.
They're a multi-billion-dollar company. You know, they can afford that. You know, I've also seen people complain that they want streaming ortho textures. You know, I'm sure that's a very hard thing to code as well. You know, and I'm sure that's gonna be some money to be able to implement as well, because that's a lot of coding, and you're gonna have to, I'm sure gonna have to get a license for it, and it's a lot of community toxicity as well.
Right.
And sometimes Laminar can just get a little bit annoying of what they have to say. They kind of just skip, hop, go everywhere. Sometimes I've seen it a couple times, not much, and I like to stay out of the streaming with Laminar stuff, just because it can kind of get a little annoying, and the comment section's too crazy, and I'm sure y'all can testify.
No,
I'm sure.
That's why I was digging. I was like, is it more Laminar, or is it the community? And it sounds like it's more the community, and it's all across flights.
It can be a little bit of both. Yeah.
They do it in 2022.
Austin Myers, he's a very good guy. He's with his weather stuff, he's phenomenal. He knows his weather like no other.
With that.
He can go into detail about weather. I'm like, what the hell? He uses vocabulary about weather, and I'm like, I never even heard of that shit. He's a very smart and good guy, but sometimes he can kind of get a little annoying, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But he's a very inspiring guy when it comes to being smart in this with the weather. When I did watch a little bit of the weather about the X-Plane 12 when it was coming out, like the live weather, and he was explaining how everything's working and how the airflow and everything is going and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what, this is gonna be really cool. And so I like the live weather in X-Plane, the default live weather, because it's the only live weather we have now. I wish they would open the API so we can get Active Sky. Because it would be better. I'm not gonna lie.
Why do you think Active Sky would be better? In what terms?
And the accuracy, because so the live weather in default X-Plane is delayed by 2 hours.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So there has been times where it would be in like Hartsfield Jackson, it would be like overcast 200 feet. I go in the sim, and it's it's still kind of sunshiny outside with just some partly cloudy clouds, because it's delayed by 2 hours, and it hasn't came in yet. But I have noticed that, and sometimes it's a little bit more accurate than other times, and sometimes it's not as much. So on that part, I wish Active Sky was for X-Plane 12 as well. I mean, they would absolutely make a killing off that. I've seen everyone want Active Sky. I had Active Sky for P3D
for 11.
Loved it.
Oh yeah, P3D, yeah, for sure.
I did not have it for 11. I used default for that too.
Default for that. I have heard with these past few updates, the weather has been a little offish for some users.
I haven't had an issue.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I haven't either. I don't know if it's location based or what.
I've seen it recently. I've been doing a lot more flying recently.
Right.
It's definitely getting there. Still needs some better
Some
update
work. Yeah.
Oh
time
yeah.
on
Oh
that
yeah.
though.
I agree for sure.
But
For sure.
so how I got into X-Plane, it's actually a very funny story because I was 13 years old. I was doing flight sim and everything. I finally got my first gaming computer. You know, and I started, buying P3D add-ons. The day I got my first gaming computer, I bought Chase Plane for P3D. I bought Active Sky for
Chase playing for the
P3D.
win, man.
For the
Yep,
win.
I bought Carenado. I got their damn, I can't remember what the plane it was. I got an Alabeo aircraft. Like I kind of went on a little spending spree. About $300, $300 gone on one night just on P3D. I bought
That's
a
P3D.
useless. I bought a useless Atlanta nighttime environment thing. Useless.
Yeah.
$6 gone down the drain. I started looking at aircraft too. I started looking at airliners, and I was like, "This is expensive."
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I looked over on X-Plane. I was like, "X-Plane looks good. Their physics are better,
Mhm.
but the systems weren't there.
That's
They
detailed.
weren't there as
Aircraft
P3D.
systems, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that was a while ago. This was probably back in like 2018,
course.
2019. Like
Yeah.
back then, like X-Plane was nowhere near as systems wise as P3D.
Right.
It was nowhere near. Like you had
Mhm.
FS Labs and PMDG, and you had the
Exactly.
Quality Wing 787 for P3D. Like
Yep.
like that's all you needed. And a lot of people said it feels like flying on rails, but me personally, I would rather fly an aircraft that has deeper system depth and fly on rails than have a half-ass product that has
Man of
better
my own
physics. Like that's the thing. I'm kind of a systems guy, but I also had the imitation of
Oh yeah.
X-Plane's freeware community is so much better. And me being 12, 13
That's
years
true.
old, I didn't have a job. I couldn't get money. And I couldn't just be like, "Hey, mom and dad, can you give me this $130 aircraft?" They would look at me like I grew a second head.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I transitioned over to X-Plane. I got the Zebo. I messed with that. It tried to kill me. I don't know how many damn times. And because I was going into Atlanta, I hit APP to put on
Little
the
approach.
glide slope and localizer.
Yeah.
And it started capturing. Throttles idled, and then the nose started pitching up. And it pitched up like 20 degrees.
Sounds
and
familiar?
I was like, what the hell is this?
Died, bro.
I was like, what the hell?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I quickly disconnected the autopilot, pushed forward, and bumped up the throttles. And I was like, what the hell was that? And
Oh my gosh.
I am glad that it was a VFR day, because if that was an ILS approach, I would have been pissed.
Oh, man. Funny story. We've said it. We already said it once in the show, but I'm going to say it again. It's funny. So it's actually Mike was streaming in the Zebo. I'll never forget this on final. And when I mean on final, he was like short final. Both engines gone. Just went on vacation. We'll see it gone. And my man, dead stick, and like to this day, I think the NTSB is still
Still trying to figure out what the hell
Still
happened.
trying to figure it out, but yeah, I think you ended up on the 101 or something.
The 10 freeway. It was bad. I've never to this day I've never had that again. I don't know what that was about.
After that, Zebo released like a fix like 2 days after, and I have never had that issue ever since. And it was funny because when I captured the glide slope, I was below glide slope. Like it captured and everything. I started going down perfectly on glide slope, and all of a sudden it just wanted to be a stupid asshole and decided to pitch 20 degrees up in the damn air. And I was like, what the hell? So I disconnected the autopilot and I landed and I looked back and I was like, what the hell was that? I went into the damn replay mode. I went into wing view. I was like, I wonder how scary these passengers would be. And I was like, I'm sorry, but if I was the passenger, I probably would shit my pants. Like honestly, all of a sudden it's pitching 20 degrees and the and the throttles are idling, and you're starting to almost hit stall speed, no, I'm good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think we've all had our share of scares
Man,
for sure.
that
And Lord knows I've
TBM had
had
it in
mine.
for
There,
that TBM had it in for you,
Whew,
bro.
man,
oh yeah,
that was rough, bro.
I've had
That
a
was
few. I actually flew a Cessna 150 from LA to Georgia,
No
cross country,
way.
real time,
wow.
real
What?
weather the whole way. I've
Really?
done around the world in a Lancer Legacy.
Wow.
Really? The Arabesque Lancer Legacy?
No, it was over on P3D. It was a company that like
Oh,
wasn't even
oh,
around
I
anymore.
forgot. Man, I forgot. I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about, but it was really good. It was really good Lancer.
yeah, it was. I flew
I
flew
can't
that
think of
damn
the
thing
name of it.
around the world.
How long
Wow.
did
Crazy.
the 150 flight take you?
Let's see. It took me a decent amount of time. Um, it took me a few days to get over. Um,
Woo.
leg wise, I think I did like 7 or 8 legs, but
Sounds
it
about
was
right.
intense because I'm trying to get a damn 150 over the damn mountains over in California, which is like
Mm.
9,000 feet.
Wow.
I was just
but
doing that hours ago, so I know.
hey, I got
But
it.
you wasn't the one no 150.
No,
I
no
got
need
I
to.
was not.
I got it. I I just kept pulling out the mixture as we went up, and I just kept going. I kept climbing. I hit the autopilot, hit altitude, I think it was like I think it was 9,500 feet, and I just cruised. And right when I go over the mountains, I stepped it down to 7,500. I was like, I am not killing this damn thing. I stepped it down to 7,500, and I sat there for the rest of the flight until it was time to descend.
Holy smokes, man. Wow.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
one. I flew a 172 across the USA, actually about 2 times, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Holy
I
smokes,
do a
man.
lot of weird things, and I actually had a USA tour around the entire USA in a Cessna 206 by I think it was like Thrundra for X-Plane.
Oh yeah.
They have
Yep.
a 206 in X-Men?
Like Duranda. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thrundra,
Well,
yeah.
X-Plane 12, I think.
Bought
Actually.
that aircraft. Amazing
How is
aircraft.
it?
I love it.
Really?
Absolutely
Yeah.
love it. It kind of
Check
pissed
that
me
out.
off because I
Wow.
spent full price, and a week later it went on sale.
Went on sale. Mhm.
Gotta love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
and it's like, well, I could have just waited a week. Could have saved me like $10 for some damn
That's
Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
Chick-fil-A.
Yep. Hell, $10 gets me my full meal.
That's right.
Man, I'm telling you, with Chick-fil-A, with extra Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's see, what else have I done? There was one time I was flying the 7.6. It was like my second flight in the 7.6. It was dead in the middle of winter. I was doing a flight from Tokyo to Anchorage. Real time, real weather. I was flying, and I was sitting there laying in bed. All of a sudden I look over, and my 7.6 is slowly descending and is pitching like 10 degrees up. And
Wow.
I texted my brother. I was like, why the hell is my 7.6 doing this? And he goes, do you have your anti-ice on? Me, no. He goes, you collected ice on the wings, which is why that's happening. And I'm like, oh. I turn it on, and then I kind of just sat there at that altitude for a bit, let the anti-ice stuff go on. Then I climbed back up to cruise altitude, and I was perfectly fine. I was like, I guess you learn every day.
Yeah.
Sure do.
But other
Yeah,
than that,
that's
it's everything is fine. So I have not had
wow.
one issue. I have not had like a flight sim crash issue, anything like that, in probably a good year and a half.
Better knock on wood, man.
I'm telling you. Lord knows, man. Like I said, I've definitely had some issues with that TBM for sure.
Only
But
issues I have is scenery issues. Get me started on that.
Oh man, no man. Like from some of the work that I've seen of yours for sure, man. It does not definitely doesn't seem like it. But I definitely wanted to touch on actually some goings on in the flight sim community here as of late. Did you guys hear about Asobo's live stream that they're I think any bills are doing the Antonov 225.
Oh yeah.
Did you
Oh.
say the release date?
When is it? Was it like next week or something crazy?
The 20th, I think.
Oh,
or
good
something
lord.
Like that.
Oh yeah.
This month. Yeah, it's coming.
That's I'll gladly
Is that
land
the
that
first
bitch into
rendition
Atlanta.
of it in a flight sim.
Man,
I
like, I
couldn't
seen
say
one
that.
years ago, like FSX. I think they had one or something like that. But man, yeah, no one's touched it since.
Apparently, they're working with a real pilot of that damn thing too.
Oh, really?
Oh really?
Yeah. So
Yeah, because they got full license for it.
Oh,
So
from
this
Antonov, yeah.
Yeah,
This is gonna
full
be
license.
legit then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's gonna
straight
be
up
legit, man. I don't know. I might be sending some doing some 225 ops and don't know where I'm going, bro, with it. But
I don't know where I'm going.
Hey, full
Hey,
send, man.
hey,
Hey,
Heart of
love
Georgia
field, bro.
Regional.
Send it.
I bet it's gonna be on a low field, bro. Sending the Antonov.
Augusta, Georgia. Let's go.
Full send, bro. Like getting it.
Talking
Yeah,
about,
man.
I'm gonna
Or
turn
we
this
can
thing
do-
back to Addison.
Yeah, get that Southwest turn,
Or
bro.
Tyler.
30-minute turn.
Gotta go to Tyler, man.
I mean, or we can do Heart of Georgia Regional with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll work.
6,500 foot runway. We'll make it.
Man.
That's,
yeah,
that's,
that'll be
that's
all right.
plenty for that thing, man.
Yeah, that's plenty.
Load
man.
that bitch down too, by the way. Might go over a couple thousand feet, but you'll be all right.
Holy smokes, guys! Y'all imagine the VAT sim ops on? Whoa, on release day.
I cannot wait to see the VAT sim pilots going in that thing. And they're like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Controllers are gonna be out of their minds.
Oh, their
Oh, yeah.
minds. The modeling
before-
looks amazing, though.
Yeah, I'm
Whoa.
looking at it here. It looks solid.
I have seen pilots, flight sim pilots, they get a new aircraft and their first flight's on VAT sim and they have no idea how to squawk a code. They don't know anything. And it's usually when people are going to like a whole different thing, like for example, like an Airbus to an MD-80, that's a decent amount of switching to do. Or like a CRJ to an Airbus,
Right.
like that's another one. So I have seen people get confused when ATC is like do this and do that and they don't know how to because they haven't spent the time to understand the concept of the aircraft.
Yeah, that's what I
Funniest-
normally do. I don't
yeah.
mean to cut you
That's-
off, Mike.
got
I
to.
normally at least give myself, give yourself a couple days or however long it takes just to kind of
Mhm.
get, accustomed to the topography of that particular, panel. So,
Yep.
when they're like, hey, we need you to, make a heading change or, even, doing things in the flight management computer. I mean, you do hear that at times where, users tend to struggle with it, but yeah, definitely got to take some time with it. But yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike. I want to intercept this conversation.
No, I was just to say the funniest thing is like if you guys follow any of the VATSIM socials, and anytime there's a major release, like if it's PMDG or
public announcement.
Phoenix, the public announcement. Hey, we are so glad to see PMDG's release of their 737-700. All pilots, please remember to be fully aware that you need to be capable to fly the damn thing before you come on that.
I saw that. I couldn't help but laugh my ass off.
They do it all the time.
Oh yeah, man, I gotta
Hilarious.
retweet it.
Oh, yeah, Johnny retweets it too.
Hey,
Oh,
the
it's-
PMDG 73900 comes out Tuesday. I'm hyped, but I won't get it.
It's gonna be, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
I'll gladly watch other people fly it, but I'm sadly not gonna get it.
Yeah, I'll probably end up picking it up just for the Delta, the 900 ops for Delta United.
Oh
I've seen
man,
them quite a
Delta
bit.
73900 ops going into Atlanta.
And Alaska.
Oh man, and Alaska, yeah.
ILS down the minimums.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be sweet for sure.
And that 739 into the toilet.
Woo, the old toilet. Man, they got the.
I didn't
What you
realize
looking
that.
at?
Maybe I missed this, man. Like Detroit is solid by any builds.
Yeah, you ain't seen it.
I
And
have not looked at the pictures before just now.
It's coming for
Man,
X-Plane
folks have been
too.
screaming it left and right, bro. You know, it's been getting
I
sent,
know.
bro. I'll put it to you like that.
Believe me,
It's
I
been
know.
getting sent, bro.
I haven't watched anyone actually fly it. I see the alerts pop up every day, but it's nice, man.
Yeah,
rendition.
man.
Good
Yeah.
rendition.
It's also coming for X-Plane, which
Is
I'm
it?
gonna figuratively
really?
go in depth for that. I don't care. I love doing Atlanta to Detroit in the A350 because the A350 is my dream airplane. And Atlanta
Oh,
to
for sure.
Detroit is like it's one of those routes where it's like it's not too short, but it's not too long. It's just like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
perfectly in the middle. Because
Especially
if
for
you
a
do,
350.
oh yeah, especially if you do Atlanta to Tampa, that's a quick ass flight. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
yeah.
ever done that before,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's a
Hour
quick
30,
flight.
if that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Detroit is like 2 hours, hour 50 ish, and I love that route. So when they come out with Detroit for X-Plane, gonna buy that instantly. Instantly.
Definitely gonna pick it up.
I actually thought about doing Detroit scenery for X-Plane.
Oh man.
We got the freeware one on the forums already.
Right.
Custom terminals. I actually got permission from that owner to actually revamp the entire thing. Add ortho, change all the lines. So I have actually gotten close to doing that after Jacksonville and everything. So it's just I can't keep having a be like, because at one point I was going crazy. I for like a day or two I had 4 airports going on at once because I added
Wow.
LFMT. So I added that to Augusta, Watsonville, and Buffalo, and it was crazy because I'm sitting here and trying to remember what I did for this and that and this and that, and finally I was like, okay, look, I got to focus on one damn thing and one damn thing only. So I released everything that I could, and I finally it's like weight just got off my chest. But then like constantly I see all these nice comments that I was getting, and I was like, you know what, this is cool.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I don't think, you guys realize the impact that, you have on the average simmer when, something is done, that they've been really, really looking forward to having and, things like that, and I mean, that really, really resonates with the community. So, I guess it goes, to, I think I wouldn't be out of line to say, from, the community, definitely thank you and other, freeware developers for what you guys do, for free. And I mean, again, there's, a lot of folks out there with, limited incomes, things like that. And, not everyone has $30 to, drop on an airport, but, it's nice to jump in the X plane and get a decent experience, or 2020 and get a decent experience, and that's brought to us by, you guys. So CTP clap for sure. Don't have the audio yet, but
we're working on it.
We're working on it.
Vertical Sim said the difference is that Tampa has a better approach. Yeah, that is
I will
true.
say it's the approach.
I can't fault him on
solid.
that one, man.
I mean, that is true. He does have a point. He does have a point.
shoot that
I mean,
that Dade's
Detroit-
one RNAV arrival into Tampa. Whew.
Right over Dade City. Heck yeah.
Detroit's approach is normally just, you look down and it's like, well, right when I land, I'm going to die. What's going to happen?
Good old, I used to
Been
work
to
for
Detroit a few
company.
times. That's my thought. Yep, right when I get on the ground, I'm
Yeah.
going to die.
You used to fly in there, right, Johnny? With your
Man, I used to be one of our hubs.
airline?
Yeah, well, used to hub the Detroit a lot, quite a bit. So
where would you guys fly from?
definitely.
Where'd you guys fly from going into Detroit?
Normally, well, not so much in the South, but it was a lot of CRJ ops. I mean, we would at one point we did run connections from like MSP to Detroit, but Detroit was a high density airport, so they got a butt ton CRJ apps. Most of the times when I was up there for the winter, it was strictly out of Minneapolis, but
Endeavor Air CRJs.
Yeah, I think right now, yeah, they Endeavor has it on lock up there now for sure.
Oh yeah, it's one of their hubs.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's one of their hubs.
Yeah, I'm sure it
so
is. If they still going with the going with how Northwest had it back in the day, but I mean, there's definitely it's definitely some nice scenery up there. It's just man, that's yeah. I got family up in Detroit, so I can talk. I can talk about it.
Speaking of Michigan, we need Vertical Sim to get his Grand Rapids scenery.
Man, where's the Grand Rapids at?
Not before he gets Ontario done, please.
Here we go. Here we go.
Charlie Charlie, please back me up, bro.
Hey, it's
Charlie.
It's almost like JCP in 2020 here, man. It's awful.
Bad, bro. Like we need Ontario bad.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, Ontario is pretty nice. Man, what did I do? No, I did a UPS flight from and back when when 11 went to 300 from Salt Lake to Ontario. Pretty sweet.
Vertical Sim post.
I
guess I ought to do.
Oh my god.
Well, since Mike insisted.
Yeah, so
whatever pictures you need, bro, I got you.
I'm actually
10 minutes away.
I'm actually just gonna say the next airport after Toledo because it's literally already under construction. So the next airport after Toledo is going to be Columbus, CSG, Columbus, Georgia. They do CRJ hops from Atlanta, so it's kind of like the sister of Augusta, kind of in a way. Charlie, I mean, hell, you probably you know that airport, I'm sure.
Yep, been back many times.
Oh yeah, I've flown to there many times myself. So
that's gonna be solid.
It's gonna be a lot of hand placing TARs again. So Mike, I don't know if you were in here when I said that, but yeah, I hand place each and individual TARs.
Wow.
Yeah. Honestly,
that's dedication, man.
There has been times, especially Toledo, I am placing TARs longer than I am placing polygons.
Wow.
Wow. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm telling you, scenery dev was not the thing for me.
You guys tried it?
Give me. Yeah, I tried it, man. This was like way back. It was a while back. But I fired up web because Hattiesburg Laurel Regional, which is my home airport, Mississippi. I tried to show it a little love, man, and like I'll try just because there were some trees and like right on the approach end of the runway, so I was trying to remove them. And then, like when I tried to, it was just it just didn't work out. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It didn't work out. Then my latest iteration, it was at CRW Yeager Field. You know what I'm talking about, Charlie?
Charleston Yeager, West Virginia.
Yep. If on the approach end, there's like there's either like a power line or something right there on the approach end of the runway, and
big ass hill too.
Yeah, and it's a ginormous hill, and I tried to remove it, and it didn't work out. I mean, in fact, I made it worse. So I was like, I'm just gonna like delete it. And, So.
I actually have the Payware Charleston Yeager scenery.
Really?
My dad used to live there, so I picked out. I still have like 4 airports in my folder that I have bought that I just haven't even flown into yet. Charleston Yeager being one of them. Let's see, what's another one? Fayetteville. I think it's like South Carolina or North Carolina, one of those. Fayetteville.
North Carolina.
From Vertical Sim, I think actually.
Yep.
I bought a lot of scenery. Still have not flown into there.
I got a bunch of them as well. I don't feel
Vertical
bad.
Sim said scenery development is like crack for me. Once you pick it up, you cannot stop.
Hey, more power to you, because you got guys like me who wants to send it somewhere and they can't do it on their own. So we rely on you guys. Definitely shout out, especially in the grunge work too. I know Captain Oreo just brought it up. A lot of these airports, right? When you're there in real world, I mean, they're dirty, right? They're nasty. They're,
yep.
They're not pristine.
they're not pristine at all.
That's honestly a consideration I take when I start doing, scenery. Is I'm like, with if I just place just the polygons, it's gonna look brand new, like a freshly paved airport. So when I start getting close to release, I like to do polygons, place the taxiway lines and all that, then place kind of grunge before the objects. That's really what I look hard into. I go on Google Earth, I try to compare it and make it like the closest I can to the real world. I might even add some artificial grunge just to kind of give it some more texture. Toledo is one of those. I have a little fake grunge that's not even in the real world, just to add texture. But grunge is very important, which is where I got TearWearDesigns. Captain Oreo, he's actually the modeler. So
too cool.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Welcome, Captain Oreo.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
But he has done all the models for Toledo, Augusta. So shout out to him. He's actually the beginner modeler. So the point of TearWearDesigns, I actually made this group for anyone welcome to help. So if you're a modeler, and you're just beginning and you're trying to learn, I'll be like, okay, cool. If you can at least make a few hangers and you can at least get the sum of it and you can texture decent, like, okay, cool. You can hop in on my team. What I am going to do is I am going to push you to your limits, and I am going to tell you, hey, I want you to model this, and it might be something crazy, but like, hey, I want you to model this, so I want to see how you do.
Right.
So I'm basically pushing beginners' limits, so that way they can get better, and they can get better and better and better, and eventually they're going to get so good that they might be able to go to a payware team, and they can start getting paid for it. So that's kind of the point of TearWearDesigns, is for me to push beginner people to their limits so they can learn new things, learn how to do new things, do research on their own, go on YouTube. You can ask Captain Oreo, like when we first started working together, like I pushed him every single day and said, I want you to see if you can do this. And I said, no, go back and fix this. I want it this way. And so I was constantly testing him, making sure that everything was exactly how I wanted it. And if I show you work back from when we first met, which was back in like last September or like probably October-ish area, if you go back to his models from then to now, literally night and day difference. So me kept pushing him more and more. He has learned more than I honestly anticipated him learning. Now he's going in Blender, he's going on Adobe Substance Painter, and he's texturing the buildings. So it's TearWearDesigns. I'm constantly looking for more modelers, beginner modelers, to join the team too. So if you're just beginning, message me. Show me your work, show me what you can do. And then I can be like, okay, we need a little work on this side, need a little work on this side. Like Captain Oreo, when he needed help on was like fine details, like gutters to the buildings, or just overhangs to the buildings to add some depth to the buildings. So I kind of force them to do that, because I want people to learn modeling. Because if you can model, then I mean you're like the king of scenery. Like, honestly,
sure.
It's true. See that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can see some. There's some payware offerings out there where, especially over on 2020 side, where the payware, where the modeling's a little, sketch. Not gonna say no names. I'm just saying the modeling's a little sketch, but but yeah, man.
Jeez, bro.
Lee is crazy. Captain Oreo said Lee is crazy at grunge work. Yeah, I would say so.
Oh man, too cool. Lee, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and really pulling the curtain behind scenery and development work. I know we had our friend Broke on a while back, and he enlightened us on some of the processes as well. And man, just continue to do what you do, brother.
Oh, I am.
Again, we'll always continue to follow your work, and as always, this is your platform as well. So, you're more than welcome to jump on at any time. And
sweet, yeah, we'll definitely have to get another podcast going after Toledo release.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Captain
sure.
Oreo,
Absolutely.
by the way, can you give me those damn models? I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing. It's like I'll message him on Discord. I'll be like, "Hey, can you give me them damn models already?" And he's like, "I'm working." I'm like, "No, it's all good. Just do your thing. Like it's all good. I'm working. I swear." That's what he said. No, it's all good. You have a life.
Sure.
I'm not gonna get pissed off. You have a life. Like go touch grass. I'm telling you, it's okay if you go touch grass. He said, "No, this guy can't place like every tar at Augusta." Yeah, see, exactly.
It's nuts.
Oh man, yes, it's nuts. But again, thank you so much, my friend. And
No
but
problem.
I know we're just kind of coming up on the top of the almost almost the 2 hour mark. But did you have any?
Hey, it's all good. I mean,
know.
if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Too cool.
So
Too cool. Mike, did you have anything for
No, we definitely got to get you back on. The only thing, are
Yeah.
you planning on attending FS Expo this year? Lee?
funny story. So I have $200 worth of Delta E credits right now. So with that, I'm probably going to be going to FS Expo.
Cool.
FS Designs and me, we are working together hard to get Pensacola out. So that way we can actually go to FS Expo. So if you guys see me, I am more likely going to be in a FSD polo shirt with a belt with khaki pants.
All right.
You'll
have to
I'll definitely keep
by.
y'all updated. Definitely keep y'all
Awesome.
updated. But I probably will be at FS Expo. I just got to make sure that I'm all good to go. But even if I don't go there for scenery team, I'm probably just gonna go just to get the hell out of Georgia. I mean, I'll gladly go to Houston for a little bit.
For sure.
Awesome.
Well, hopefully it'll be warm, and we won't have any more winter vortexes, where the heck that was. So
Exactly.
frozen tundra.
For
No,
sure.
man, nothing else on my side. Again, appreciate you for coming on. Those of you
No
in the
problem.
chat, definitely come out to FS Expo. Close Traffic Podcast will be part of the media team again this year. Looking forward to seeing each and every one of you there. We've got some things going on. We've got some plans in the work about our participation there with some other vendors and some other developers. It's going to be a good time. So link is in the chats, and you also can check out our website, closetrafficpodcast.com, for some additional information on that as well.
Absolutely. And also, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Extreme Flight Simulations there. So if you guys are in the Chicago area and want to send a 737 sim, they are definitely up there. And they also got some other stuff up there as well. So definitely check them out at Extreme Flight Simulation. And that's all I had. What about you, Brother Charlie, with that fine nuclear power generator behind you?
Man,
Hey,
nothing
did
on
you guys,
my
I know I was late. Did you guys rag on him yet about that, man?
Yep, we did.
Oh, you
Sure as
did?
hell did.
Man, I got him a little bit. I was gonna, yeah, I got him a little
Little
bit.
Tony Stark back there.
Tony Stark.
I mean,
Hello,
if Extreme
Michael.
Flight Simulation wants to sponsor TearWearDesigns for a 737 experience, I mean, I'll gladly go to Chicago.
Hey, man, we can hook it up.
Hey,
We'll
I
figure it out. Hook it up for you.
I have probably 500 hours in the 73 because at one point that was the only plane I was flying. Literally,
yeah.
not joking. I have hours in the PMDG and in the Zebo. Probably about 300 in the PMDG. Probably a little bit more than that. And I have loads of hours in the Zebo. I mean, the 737 is like I could probably set the whole damn thing up by muscle memory at this point. Like
In the
honestly,
dark, blindfolded.
oh yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
too
so
cool.
Extreme Flight Simulation. If you're watching this, you can sponsor me. Just email me TearWearDesigns TWD@yahoo.com.
Oh man, too cool. Well, guys, again, man, I had an absolute blast with you tonightly. Definitely looking forward to keeping up with you, and again,
Sweet.
you're
Thank you
always
for inviting me.
for sure, you're always welcome on the CTP. And aside from that, guys, hope everyone has an awesome rest of your weekend, and take care of yourselves and each other. We will see you.